I'm standing on a matter of personal and collective privilege on an issue that is affecting not only our constituents, but the impact of fake news among us doctors and healthcare providers. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, kahapon po lamang ay tumayo ako para isigaw ang totoong boses ng mamamayan, ang pagsugpo sa mga pekeng medical information. And I was referring to the lambasting of our colleague and those who are just helping the local government units on their medical facilities being accredited by PhilHealth via access to DBP funds. Ang pinupuntirya ko po ay hindi yung mga sumakay na lamang at nalinlang dun sa mga pekeng balita, kundi ang pinagmulan ng pekeng interpretasyon, pekeng advokasya, at peke na pagiging eksperto. At ngayon naman, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I am again standing up. Because even if I will be branded as part of the minority voice, I will never stop because I am definitely sure that this voice speaks the truth and is bringing the real issues that should be discussed. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, kamakailan lang ay niyanig ang buong Pilipinas nang sabihing zero budget ang PhilHealth. Naglipa na ulit, lalong-lalo na itong palaging nasa media na nagclaim na eksperto siya at siya'y advocate ng public health at kung ano-ano ang mga pinagsasabi. Let me quote the message that has been circulating not only in our country but worldwide, Mr. Speaker. And I am referring to the open letter of Tony Leachon addressed to the President but is actually being sent all over medical societies and other stakeholders. Let me focus, Mr. Speaker, on his statement, which actually says and implies that health is not a priority of this administration and that health is not a priority of President Bongbong Marcos. This is a big lie. Malaking kasinungalingan para lang ulit mapunta sa headlines, para lang ulit makakuha ng airtime. I am not saying this, Mr. Speaker, because I'm a member of Congress, but I am standing up. Kasi ilang beses na binibiktima ang kalusugan, pinupolitika ang kalusugan, dahil may mga taong gustong nagkakagulo-gulo tayo, at ang sanhi niyan ay ang perpetrators of fake medical information. He cited 3 situations. And to quote, Mr. President, imagine the faces of those you serve. A mother cradling her child in the corridors of an overcrowded hospital, unable to afford even the most basic medication. A farmer in the provinces walking miles to a rural health center only to be told there are no funds for dialysis sessions. An elderly man who contributed to PhilHealth all his life, now begging for help as mounting hospital bills eat away his family's savings. And he further mentioned, these are not just statistics, these are real people. And the government is being poised to deprioritize healthcare in favor of unprogrammed appropriations and the Ayuda para sa Kapos ang Kita program. He further mentioned, when the government allocated zero subsidy for healthcare in 2025, and this is addressed to the President, Leachon mentioned, you placed millions of Filipinos at risk, especially the poorest and the most vulnerable. When the cries for support from those who depend on universal healthcare law were met with silence, you betrayed the promise of a healthcare system that is meant to be universal, accessible, and equitable. He further mentioned that this is not about politics anymore, Mr. President, but this is about lives and Filipino lives. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, unahin ko itong mga pinagsasabi niya. Totoo yung sitwasyon na meron tayong mga taong nagkakasakit at nangangailangan ng tulong. Totoo rin na meron tayong universal healthcare law na hindi epektibo dahil ipinasa siya para magmukhang mabuti at para sa Pilipino, pero ang katotohanan is it is mere lip service. Again, because of killer provisions. Kasalanan ba ng administrasyon ngayon nang ipinasa na universal healthcare law nung nakarang administrasyon ay hindi epektibo? Kasalanan ba ng administrasyon ngayon na yung mga nangyari sa PhilHealth nung nakaraang administrasyon ay nababoy ang PhilHealth? Is it the fault of the current administration that we are trying to correct things and abuses in the health sector? Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we should never shut our mouth if there is somebody sowing intrigues and misinformation among the general public. Ang sabi nga ng World Health Organization, it's time to flatten the curve of infodemics. At ulitin ko ang sinabi ko kahapon. Ano po ba ang infodemics? Ito ay dinagdagan o binawasan na totoong impormasyon para magmukhang totoo, pero peke, Mr. Speaker. I do not blame the people who reacted, the people who took on the debate on various platforms, the people who were bleeding and crying and very much anxious, thinking that what Liachon is saying is the truth. But the reality is, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, pinaglalaroan lang ang mga Pilipino ni Tony Liachon dahil karamihan ng kanyang sinasabi ay twisted information. Bakit nga ba nagkasiro ang budget ng PhilHealth? Mr. Speaker, I was a former chairman of the board of PhilHealth. Yes, I was with PhilHealth for only over a year. But my eyes were open to many things happening inside that had to be corrected. Reforms were made. In fact, even in policies of PhilHealth, 8 major reforms were made, including to curb fraud and to make it responsive to our people. Pero ano ang nangyari? Nung pumasok ang nakarang administrasyon, binaliktad lahat ito. Noong 2017 at 2018, nagpakasaya ang ilang opisyal ng PhilHealth by distributing PhilHealth money and making this as excessive allowances. Andun yung isang PhilHealth president na nakatira sa hotel. Kaliwat kanan ang mga sumusobrang benepisyo, hindi para sa tao, hindi para sa miyembro, kundi para sa kanilang mga sarili. Andun yung napakamahal na COVID testing that was actually depleting the funds of PhilHealth. Pero hindi naman talaga nabibigay yung tamang serbisyo ayon sa mga sakit na kailangan ng tao. Andun yung interim reimbursement mechanism na yan ang totoong pamumulitika kung saan ang pera ng PhilHealth ay pinamigay na ang PhilHealth ay nagmukhang kapitalista sa mga pribadong ospital na hindi naman tumatanggap ng pasyente. At ano ang nangyari, Mr. Speaker? No accountability. Is IRM illegal? Definitely! Dahil ang pera ng PhilHealth, kapag yan ay binayad na as premium, yan ay pera na ng mga miyembro para kung ikaw ay magkasakit. Hindi yan pwedeng ipautang, hindi yan pwedeng gawing pangkapital, hindi kapitalista ang PhilHealth, kundi ito ay government insurance. Non-profit at that, Mr. Speaker. So bakit ngayon, habang inaayos natin ang puso ng kalusugan, which is actually the primary energy and adrenaline that makes healthcare sustainable. Kasi maski ilang ospital pa ang ipatayo natin, maski ilang tao pa at healthcare workers ang ating i-hire. But if we do not have an effective, efficient, and responsive PhilHealth, this can never make universal healthcare applicable. Dahil ang PhilHealth, ang puso na nagpapaikot sa lahat ng investments on health. Be it national, be it local, be it private, or be it government. Ngayon, bakit natin uulanin at tatadtarin ng kasinungalingan ang mga taong gustong sugpuin at ayusin ang PhilHealth? Why are we depriving PhilHealth of major changes that will actually put things in their proper perspective? Unahin na natin, meron bang pera ang PhilHealth? Yes. As mentioned earlier, and which is still ongoing on the Committee on Good Government, there is around 500 to 600 billion funds in PhilHealth. Mawawala ba? Malulusaw bang PhilHealth? No. Pero balikan natin ang punot dulo ng mga problemang ito. Ano ba ang binibigay ng national government sa PhilHealth? We call it subsidy in appropriations terminologies. But in medical terminology, this is actually payment of premium. Dahil insurance po ang PhilHealth, 2 klase po ang nagbabayad nito. Una, yung direct contributors o yung mga sinasabing miyembro ng PhilHealth na nagbabayad ang kanilang opisina o ang kanilang sarili. Pangalawa, yung mga indirect contributors na nakasaad sa batas, yung ating mga 4Ps, yung ating senior citizens, yung mga nasa pamana, yung mga iba't iba pa dyan na minandate ng batas na babayaran ng gobyerno ang PhilHealth. In other words, the national government is putting forward annual budget to PhilHealth to enroll on an annual basis yung mga walang kakayahang bayaran ang kanilang premium at sang-ayon sa batas ay binabayaran ng gobyerno through DOH, then PhilHealth. In other words, ang binibigay ng national government ay pambayad para sa enrollment ng ating mga indirect contributors. Bakit po naging zero? Dahil sang-ayon sa ating oversight hearings at ilang session ng Committee on Appropriations, nakitaan na yung ilang taon na binibigay na premium or subsidy ng national government para pambayad ay tama ang numero pero kulang ang tao. And I myself, Mr. Speaker, as a witness to how we overhauled PhilHealth, and I tell you, hindi siya ganun kamadali. We faced cases right and left. Binara kami, inulan kami ng maraming lobbyist at mga nagpapanggap na kunyari ay advocates ng public health. Pero ang katotohanan, nung binibigay ng national government at ng Kongreso at Senado yung bayad para premium sa mga Pilipinong walang pambayad. Example na lang dito ay ang senior citizens. Nung binibigay ang pondo para sa 7.7 million senior citizens of the Philippines, yung aktual na tao na buhay ay nasa more or less 4 million lamang. Bakit? Nagkandara pa ang duplication or triplication of names. Ando dun yung napakagulong lista na yung isang pangalan ay 3 beses ini-enroll o minsan ay 2 beses. Ando dun din yung mga patay na in-enroll pa. Ando dun din yung bayad na ng kanilang kumpanya o ng kanilang sarili, siningil pa yung national government. In other words, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, this was fraud, panloloko, pandaraya na inaayos ng ating gobyerno. Bakit natin ito pipigilan? Why is Tony Leachon pretending to be a health advocate where in fact he seems to be tolerating corruption in PhilHealth? Bakit hindi siya tumayo at pinigilan yung excessive allowances ng mga executives? Bakit hindi siya nagrereklamo na nasa puro investment na lang yung nilalagay na pera? Because it will not land him in the headlines? This is not personal, Mr. Speaker. But let me call a spade a spade. A lie is a lie. Ang kasinungalingan ay talagang kasinungalingan. At dahil ba malapit ng eleksyon, dumarami ang ingay, maski hindi totoo ang mga akusasyon? Yung mga excess payment of premiums ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas na napunta sa PhilHealth, pero walang tao, walang mukha na in-enroll, ang ibig sabihin nun ay excess enrollment. Ihalin tulad natin ito, Mr. Speaker, sa isang negosyanteng nagbebenta ng lechon na kailangan mo ng supply ng baboy sa isang taon. At kunyari ako ay nagbebenta ng lechon, I will have pre-ordered pigs or piglets from the various suppliers at sasabihin ko, kailangan ko ng 1,000 baboy. Pero Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, nagkaroon ng swine flu. At ang na-deliver lang sa akin ay 700 na baboy. Saan mapupunta yung excess payment ko ng 300 na baboy? Hindi po ba ay dapat i-refund niya sa akin yon? Or i-carry over yon sa isusupply niyang baboy sa susunod na taon? In other words, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, simula pa noong 2015, nung ako ay naging chairman ng PhilHealth Board, ay nakitaan na namin ng bilyon-bilyon na excess na binabayad para i-enroll si Juan at si Maria, ngunit yung Juan at Maria de la Cruz na ini-enroll ay kulang na kulang dun sa aktual na pondo. At dyan kukunin ang pang-enroll ng ating indirect contributors. At yan ang gagamitin dahil ang ginagawa nga ng PhilHealth ay para nagiging negosyante na ini-invest ito. Kumikita naman sila, yes. Pero hindi iyon ang intensyon ng PhilHealth. Hindi intensyon ng PhilHealth ang magnegosyo. Ang intensyon nila ay magkaroon ng takbuhan ang bawat Pilipino kapag nagkakasakit. Magkakaroon ba ng problema yung mga nagbayad ng kanilang premium? Hindi. Kasi ang binibigay ng national government, uulitin natin, ay pambayad sa enrollment ng mga indigent at walang kakayahan at senior citizens na hindi pa enrolled. Hindi pwede ang duplication, hindi pwede ang triplication. At kaya, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, hindi po totoo na mawawala na ng benepisyo yung mga nagbabayad ng kanilang premium sa PhilHealth dahil tuloy-tuloy po ang serbisyo. Hindi po mawawala ng pang-enrollment sa PhilHealth yung ating mga indirect contributors dahil kukunin yun sa excess payment na wala namang in-enroll na mga tao for the past 10 or even 15 years. Dahil nagsimula po yan, ang nakita ko lang po yung datos ng 2014. Ipagpalagay na natin 10 taon. Magkano po at ilang bilyon ang excess dyan. Hindi po totoong bawal magkasakit. Dahil na zero ang budget ng PhilHealth, ang pera ng PhilHealth, Mr. Speaker, ay nasa PhilHealth. Ang binibigay ng national government ay pang-enroll on an annual basis dun sa mga indigent, sa mga 4Ps, sa mga pamana, at sa mga senior citizens na mahihirap. Hindi totoong mawawala ang pondo pang dialysis, kagaya sa kasinungalingan ng pekeng ekspertong si Tony Leachon. At pabalik ko nga, Mr. Speaker, ang reklamo ng iba, napakabagal ng PhilHealth. Napakahirap ng PhilHealth. Bakit ganito? Bakit ganon? Ang tanong ko, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, sino ba ang mga genius na nagpasok ng provision sa Universal Healthcare Law na hindi makakagalaw ang PhilHealth dahil kailangan pang bigyan ng permiso ng HTAC or the Health Technology Assessment Council? Tingnan po natin ang batas na ginawa noong nakaraang administrasyon. Ito ba ay totoong Universal Healthcare Law? Nakasaad din dun sa batas na lahat ng packages na gagawin ng PhilHealth ay kailangan ng permiso dun sa mga eksperto daw na nakakaintindi pero hindi naman gumagalaw. Sino ba ang naglagay ng provision na ang trabaho ng DOH ay gagawin ng PhilHealth? Sino ba ang naglagay ng provision sa Universal Healthcare Law na ang mga epidemiological numbers at datos ay dapat i-provide muna ng PhilHealth? Ito naman ay trabaho, supposedly ng DOH. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the zero budget approved by the Bicameral Conference Committee is not because we do not advocate health for all. The zero budget is meant to realign the funds to make healthcare sustainable. Kasi kung meron tayong mga ospital, pero hindi naman PhilHealth accredited, kung meron naman tayong mga ospital, pero wala namang doktor, kasi kulang ang pangsweldo, kung meron tayong mga ospital, pero hindi naman ma-accredit kasi may mga kulang na kagamitan, eh wala pong kwentang mag-enroll ka ng mga tao sa PhilHealth if PhilHealth cannot accredit these facilities. In other words, Mr. Speaker, ang sabi dito, budgeting is a serious and sacred exercise where public funds must directly benefit the people. True. Funds from taxes and duties we pay and the debt incurred that we and the future generations would have to eventually pay. Yes, this is true, Mr. Speaker. And that is why Congress and Senate is doing its work. Hindi po pwedeng patulugin ang pera ng national government sa PhilHealth kung wala itong mga mukha na may papakita na kailangan i-enroll. Hindi pwedeng patulugin ang pera at kumita ng ilang interest sa bangko na mapupunta sa PhilHealth panggastos sa kanilang dagdag na mga bonuses. Hindi pwede, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, na papayagan natin maimpluwensyahan yung utak ng ating mga kababayan dahil meron tayong mga naglaganap na peking eksperto na kapag lumalabas ay napapaniwalaan ng tao. Why? Because they have mastered the art of infodemic. They have mastered. Magdamit ka lang ng maayos, magkunyari kang eksperto, ayun, akala mo totoo na. I am standing up, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, because health is the adrenaline of our life. It is the core of every movement of a community. And if Lechon is saying that he needs a president who stood for the people and not the one who turned away from them in their time of greatest need, then he is knocking at the wrong door. He is knocking at the wrong people because it takes extreme political will to reform PhilHealth. The syndicate that has been embedded in that institution is far from description, Mr. Speaker. Only a president and a government with extreme political will can overturn the events. Hindi po natin pwedeng itolerate ang mga ganito. Hindi natin tinatanggalan ng pondo ang PhilHealth. We are just allowing it to spend for the people what is intended for the people and what should be by the people. With that, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, napakarami pa ng gusto kong isawalat sa mga nangyayari sa PhilHealth. Napakarami pa ng dapat ayusin. Pero huwag tayong magpalinlang at huwag tayong magpadala-dala dun sa mga nagsasabing ito ay anti-people, ito ay anti-health. Again, Mr. Speaker, let us crush infodemic. Let us crush fake experts. Let us crush fake medical information because this will bring us to nowhere. PhilHealth will continue to exist. PhilHealth will continue to live and serve us, but PhilHealth needs to be spunked a little because they have to police their ranks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat, distinguished colleagues.